excellence, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This meeting is being live streamed by Chelmsford Telemedia and posted to the CPS website for interested community members to access and watch. In-person public participation will be taking place tonight in accordance with the Chelmsford School Committee Public Participation Policy. Anyone speaking tonight during the public input portion of this meeting is notified the superintendent's office of the desire to speak and be provided with these guidelines. Upon request, written comments received no later than 12 p.m. on the day of the meeting will also be read and made part of the record of the meeting during the second public comment session. So welcome to this meeting of the Chelmsford School Committee. Just so the viewing audience knows, we have one member that is joining us through Zoom. So Diana LeBeau is going to be on Zoom with us tonight, and then we have everybody else here in person.
Okay.
All right, so the first order of business we have is to approve the minutes from our meetings on February 24th and March 3rd.
Okay, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular school committee meeting of February 24, 2026.
I will second.
Okay, any corrections on the minutes? All right, we'll have to do a roll call. So Diana?
She can't hear us.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. All right, so go on.
Oh, aye.
All right,
Mine is-
Susan? Hi, Susan.
Aye.
Maria?
aye.
Aye. And we're going to get her back on? Or?
She's trying.
Okay. All right. So do we need to come back and revote? Well, we can ask her.
I don't think it's controversial.
Okay, no, it's
but
three,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's 3-0, so it's
You've
three,
got-
yeah,
you've
three to
got
quorum.
three,
Yeah, okay,
so-
all right.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the next one.
All right, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular school committee meeting of March 3rd, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay. Any corrections on those minutes? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so 3-0 both times.
Okay.
Okay, next up, we have our Chelmsford High School representatives.
Thank you. The Wellness Fair at CHS on March 6th was a success despite the delay. Many students were able to go down and see the many presenters. I got to see Miss Santos at her awesome origami, and her husband taught me some fishing stuff, so hopefully I can catch fish now. And Winter Sports Awards night was yesterday in the PAC. Congratulations to all the athletes who won awards, and extra congratulations to the swim team who won their 5th straight MVC title. On Thursday, March 19th, CHS students were visited by Becky Savage and her 525 Foundation, who educates students about the dangers of opioids by sharing her tragic story surrounding opioid misuse. This presentation was also seen by grades 9 through 12 and was also presented later in the day for interested community members. And Term 3 is coming to an end at April 4th, which is crazy to me.
Yes.
So to start off, House Olympics took place on the week of March 9th to the 13th with Hawthorne House winning. And all spring sports have started up. And a few events to look close. This Friday, the Red Cross blood drive will be taking place in the gym. Students are able to donate their blood. And up soon, we have the craft fair on April 12th, which is taking place in McCarthy. And then Catil is on May 9th.
Wow.
What house are you in, Patrick? I saw you shaking your
I'm
head.
in Whittier.
Yeah, I saw you were very disappointed in the results. I saw that. I could see it in your face. Yeah.
I'm in Hawthorne House.
Oh, see?
That's
why you
got
get
the
to do the
win.
news.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
All right. Any other good news to share?
Yeah, one other piece of good news is Byam Elementary had a very successful multicultural evening the other night. I know we had a lot of different events happening on the 19th, including the building committee meeting, but they had a very good time, and we're excited to have that.
Great. All right. Anybody else?
I had some good news. I was invited to go to the Center School STEAM Fair as an official. So it was really nice to be back in my old school and talk to quite a few kids about their projects, so I really enjoyed that. And I attended the Parker Middle School production of Mary Poppins. Also very well done, nice to see, including singing and speaking in British accents even, so they did a lovely job. It was a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah. My good news is that I got to watch Susan hula hoop.
I
the
saw the
wellness
picture.
fair.
I saw the picture. You look good.
That was,
I did see that. I sadly couldn't make it over to that
you did, huh?
because time
This
ran
is
out. but
good.
I did see the hula hoops.
I will say too, the science fair, the kids actually got medals this year. They were very happy with those.
Yes, they loved it.
Yeah.
They do a good job over there. I think they had one of the highest numbers they've had in a while. So,
There were a lot of people.
Good.
That was nice.
all right. I don't believe we have anybody for public comment. I'll give you a sec if you want to try to get Miss Bo back on.
Yeah, the issue is, I guess, Chelmsford Telemedia has to do an upgrade to their Zoom.
Okay.
So it's making them go through that. And
Okay.
because they're not joined as a member, Diana can't hear us. But as soon as they're able to reboot, we'll be able to get it running.
Great. All right, so we're all, we don't have public comment, so we're on to new business. So the first one is.
Yeah,
comment
the
on
first one was just public comment on the Parker project. As you know, did you want to talk about how we met last week, or?
Yeah, I mean, before, obviously, we all attended the public forum. Before, we did have a building committee meeting, and we went through a lot of the same things that we did in the public forum, just a little bit more detailed on all the different options and, you know, the different grade level. We kind of concentrated on 4 to 6 in the public forum, but we kind of looked at all of them. And just in terms of this committee, we have some work to do at our next meeting. We are going to have to make the final improvement of the ed program. So Dr. Hirsch has been diligently working on some edits to that, and so we'll have to do that, and we'll have to take a formal vote on the grade configuration. And then 2 nights later, the building committee will do the same thing, and hopefully at that point, we'll have one option, one grade level configuration, and be ready to go.
One location?
Yeah.
On one location.
Yeah.
One thing that struck me about this meeting was that, you know, you got to see everything, including the numbers and the proposed numbers. And I think that that was really, you know, it hit home on, you know, what the money will pay for and the solutions that it will pay for. Makes a huge
And
difference.
that'll get more refined once we get down to, you know, a project. They'll really be able to kind of narrow that down. And we're supposed to get updates as it is on the options we currently have in front of us. But, you know, once we get that one project, then really, then I guess the fun starts.
It does, yeah. I mean, April's obviously busy. We've got the big submission, and then we wait. We have a couple of back and forth meetings with the MSBA to clarify the scope of the project. We take a little bit of a look at the individual spaces within the building, like what's going to be allowable, what's not going to be allowable. That kind of runs through May. And then hopefully we get the sign off from the MSBA board at sometime late May, early June on that option that we're going to go forward with. And then it shifts into schematic design. So June right through October is when they're going to be doing like the formal cost estimating, doing an even bigger. I know we got to get a sense a little bit of like what the space might look like, but they do more elaborate designs even on the outside of the property. So that'll all be between June and October. And then by October, we'll have another series of community input sessions to really just talk about the option that's going to be before individuals when the vote comes next winter. So it's progressing well. There's just a lot still to come.
It is, it's getting closer, so.
Yeah.
It's been good to see the continued interest in people attending the meetings.
Yeah.
We've had 4 public sessions, is that correct?
Yeah, there's been so many over the last
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
years, but I think
But I
there's
mean,
been
in this
4
newer,
primary.
there was,
Yeah.
and people.
This is
just
probably the
coming.
best attended
And
one.
new people as well. So
Yeah.
they're like different people who didn't maybe come to one of the first or second sessions, but they were very involved
Yeah.
and active
Good
this
to
time.
see
So
the
I thought it was good.
They had the little scale models you can play around with, so it was
Agreed.
good, yeah. That was nice. All right, so any other comments on the grade level configuration options at this point? Okay, we'll move on to the next thing.
All right, moving on to number 2, our spotlight on one of our departments tonight is Katie Sims and Health Phys Ed and Family Consumer Science. And she's got a couple of students with her, so we'll invite her to come on up to the table and share a little bit about the happenings within her department. And I will get this started for you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us tonight. I'm Katie Sims, like Dr. Lang said, and I have 2 fabulous senior students here with me tonight, Misha and Fabiana. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about 2 different things going on to spotlight from the high school. One being a new health education course that we ran for the first time this year. And Misha and Fabiana both were in that course first semester, so they'll be able to share their experiences. And then since the wellness fair was a couple of weeks ago, we'll share a few highlights from that. I know a few people have already mentioned it, so we just have a couple of highlights. We might have a picture of Susan doing the hula hoop, so we have evidence. And then we'll have time for questions at the end. So our new course at the high school is Modern Topics in Health Sciences. So this is a course that juniors can take as an elective course, or seniors can take as their health requirement senior year of high school. So they have the option of taking it junior or senior year. And the course is kind of broken up into 4 major areas. They talked a little bit about ethics and professionalism, different infectious diseases, health disparities and different policies related to health sciences, and then they got a chance to explore different careers in health science and pathways. Do you girls want to share maybe some highlights from the class and maybe some of your favorite parts?
My favorite unit was definitely the ethics unit. We learned a lot about different studies done in the past in psychology, in epidemiology, and it was really interesting to see all of that through the perspective of medical ethics. And we also talked about HIPAA and how in real life, for those who want to pursue a career in healthcare, how we would act in response to HIPAA with knowing these medical ethics.
I'm gonna have to agree. I really also enjoyed the first unit, ethics, and I think it's just because it has like set the foundation for like discussions we would have in class. So we learned that the doctor's duty is not really, it's just to relieve the pain of a patient, but it's never really just black or white. So we were able to navigate different moral arguments, and I thought that was engaging for everybody in the class.
Awesome, thank you so much. So part of the course that I mentioned earlier is to explore different pathways. So Mrs. Gonzalez that teaches this course, she had 12 or maybe a little bit more professionals come in to the class and speak to the students about different health science professions. So they were in public health, in nursing, she had a doctor, a physical therapist, just to kind of show and give students a wider span and range of the different professions within health sciences, and to hear from people in those positions and hear about their experiences and maybe the schooling that they went through to get to the job that they were in, and kind of like what their day-to-day world looks like. So we have a list. These are some of the people that they had come in. They had paramedics, different types of nurses, physician assistant, a registered dietitian. So girls, do you want to share kind of some highlights from those presentations and what you got out of it, and some that stuck with you?
Something that definitely stuck with me was the SANE nursing and the trauma nurses. SANE nurses are sexual assault nurse in the ER, and they're as an addition to their nursing license, they're able to get a certification for SANE, and they can help respond to sexual assault cases in the ER. And that goes with the trauma nurses, which it was really interesting to see how they deal with that professionally, deal with having incoming traumas all the time with their personal lives, seeing how they balance work and life. And it was just a really interesting presentation.
Yeah, and for the SANE nursing, they brought, the lady, she brought a box, which is a kit that they use, especially in their position. And the trauma nurses, they also talked about how people who come to you are basically having the worst day of their lives. So you're gonna have to be able to navigate how to deal with that. And like, they might not be kind to you, but you're gonna have to learn how to deal with it. And if you're not able to deal with that side of healthcare, maybe it's not the option for you. We also had a physician assistant come in, and she did let us know that if you wanted to intern with her, you'd have the opportunity. So I think it's definitely a great opportunity for seniors or even juniors looking into their future.
I think you mentioned earlier an occupational therapist also came into the class and also offered up an internship for the students. And one of the students in their class actually reached out to the occupational therapist center school.
I think
South Row. So that student is going to be interning with that staff member in a couple weeks. So that was great too. So part of the course, Mrs. Gonzalez and I reached out to the nursing coordinator at Middlesex Community College. They have an amazing, we knew they had a pretty good nursing program there, so we reached out to them. I didn't realize that they had such a robust dental program as well. So we went on the field trip in December, I believe. Spent a whole day on their campus. They planned hands-on activities for the class the entire school day, which was amazing. Some kids were saying, some of the seniors were saying, this is my favorite field trip I've ever been on. This is so great. Because they were really engaged in the work and they were part of it. And Middlesex, I don't know the exact date, but within the last couple years, redid their entire nursing and dental building. So it is all brand new, high quality, top tiered equipment. They had some pretty cool equipment when we went there. So the students spent part of the day in the nursing building, and then we're in two groups and we flip-flopped. So they got to experience dental assisting, dental hygiene, and the dental lab technician. And I learned a bunch of things throughout the course of the day too, which was awesome. I didn't realize Middlesex had the only dental lab technician program in New England, which was pretty cool. So they were making retainers and crowns and things like that, and then they were working with dentists. And the dentist reaches out to them if they need something made, and they make it in the lab and sell it to the dentist, and then it gets sold to the patient. So things like that were kind of cool to learn. I know Misha wasn't able to make it to the field trip, but Fabiana, do you want to talk about your experience?
Yeah, even though I wasn't really interested in dentistry, I thought that the lab was really cool. They showed us like the technology that they get to use because it makes their job easier. And they also showed us, they had like models from like they used a long time ago. So like they used different materials and like it kind of set into like to see really how much we've advanced, just the different technology. I thought that was really
Yeah, the
cool.
technology that they had was really amazing.
Yeah, and I really like the nursing. I'm going into nursing. Partially, I was influenced also by that field trip, and I thought it was really cool, the simulation lab. It was
Yeah.
really cool. You could see like the robots. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the mannequins that
Yeah.
they had were interactive. They
Yeah.
made sounds. You could take a blood pressure. You could do CPR on them. They were,
Yeah, and you could hear
Very
them
nice.
breathing too. Like
yeah, you could hear them breathing, and they were all hooked up to monitor. It was like being in a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So these are some pictures from their class in December when we went. So the picture on the left was some digital scanning where they just have like a wand now that can go into your mouth and scan your teeth. So so it's not as invasive as the old school x-rays. Fabiani, do you want to talk about the second picture? Because I think that was a highlight for a lot of students.
So yeah, it was really difficult. We had to like put the rubber bands in like with the braces and align it.
Yes.
I think I only got one.
Did you get?
Yeah.
They were really small. They had to put the colored bands on the braces, and then they also had a chance to try and take them off. But they are really, really tiny. You have to have a steady hand for that
Yeah.
work, for sure. So this is the simulation lab on the left. You could see they got to, check heartbeats. All the students were given stethoscopes. And on the right there, I think she's trying to remove maybe one of the elastics. But yeah, that was very intricate, fine motor work they were doing. And this one just shows on the left is the dental lab. So that's where they were making the molds. They had a couple of rooms off of that that had some really heavy machinery. So they would start here in the classroom and then move it to one of the other rooms after. And these are just they did the hand washing thing too. So all the students had a chance to see how well they washed their hands. So they were given soap and water, and then their hands went under the black lights. And I don't think not one person, I don't think had
I know, I
no
didn't.
spots. everybody had a few spots. So to show how important it is working in the medical field, like really scrubbing your hands and getting them clean. So that was a little fun side activity they got to do. And then at the end of the day, Middlesex put together a panel discussion for all of our students. So there were representatives from nursing, dental assisting, dental lab tech, and they also had people from admissions there. They had students from all of those programs there. So they kind of talked a little bit first, kind of shared their experiences either from the professor side or from the student side, and then the admission side of it. And then opened it up to our students and gave them an opportunity to ask questions. I don't know if you remember anything specific about that you wanted to share?
Really, I just remember that they talked about how they're all like in different age groups. So it's like not right away they knew that they wanted to take this path, but they had the time and they chose to take it. And they also talked about how rigorous the programs are.
Yes.
And it's also challenging to get in, but it's worth it. That's what they all said.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you. So that's our new course at the high school that we're very excited about it. We ran 2 sections this year. We're hoping to run that, if not more, next year, and to continue to grow the course, and then also partnerships within the community and different colleges as well. Misha, do you want to share what you're doing for your internship in a couple of weeks, since it's health science related?
I'm interning at a pediatric dental office on Drum Hill. I'm interning at both the general dentist and the orthodontist, so I'll be able to work with them on treatment plans and just learn about all the new technology. I've actually seen the scanner instead of the x-rays, because I've shadowed there for junior job shadow day as well. And I love the experience, and I want to go into dental.
Awesome. Thank you. So just the last thing we wanted to share today was just that the fact that we had the wellness fair on March 6th. We pulled it off even though the weather was a little tricky that day, and we ended up having a delay, but everything worked out perfectly. The same amount of classes still met, just shorter amount of time, which was fine with us. And the vendors were amazing. We had about 38, we had the most vendors we've ever had at the Wellness Fair this year. And we had, I believe, about 38 of them. And we felt very fortunate to have 2 school committee members be a part of our Wellness Fair. That was also a first. So Susan and Maria were there the entire day, entertaining our students. So we thank you for that. It was great. You were a great addition to the Wellness Fair this year. And you were both very popular. Your stations had a lot of action.
It was really Julio's station, the fishing.
Oh, the fishing was a big
Rod
hit too.
caught my eye.
It was kind of nice to do that, the hobbies area, because you sometimes, I think, tend not to think of your leisure time, the time you take to pursue your creativity and the other things in life besides career and family and all of these things. But pursuing your creativity is important too. So yes, our origami was actually done by Hannah Barker and her team, her group. And I did crochet, which you really love. We did the worry worms.
Yeah, the worry worms were a big hit.
They were big
I
hit.
was still dropping off some today.
They were a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And the other, Julio did his fishing thing. We did puzzles. We had some painting and bookmarks, things like that. So it was fun, but you can add, keep on adding. So if anybody has ideas for the next one, come on over.
Yeah, it was great to have a hobbies table. We never had that before, so thank you for putting that together. And you were definitely successful in getting a lot of students over and interacting with your group.
Yeah, it was really good. Some people came up and said, we need a new hobby. So, I need something else to do. Okay, let me convince you to do crochet. And I challenged the golfers next time to come over, do a little golfing right there. What
that would
else?
be good.
There's tons
Yeah.
of things. It would be really, really fun. Wrestling? Could
Oh,
be.
yeah, we could throw that.
Yeah,
too.
we can do
Throw
all
a
that.
mat
Not quite a
down.
hobby, but
Yeah, quite a sport.
Well,
But
my
it
table
is-
had nothing to do with hula hooping. That was just a draw to get people to come over, and I like hula hooping, so I happened to do it.
It worked.
Yeah, but so we were from a different way. I'm part of the Upper Merrimack Valley Medical Reserve Corps, which is a totally volunteer group of medical and non-medical people. So it was a good way to talk to the students about people who are already in or are interested in the health field, a way they can also just volunteer and serve
Yeah.
their community through it. So and a lot of kids were interested and had a lot of questions.
Great.
It's terrific.
Yeah,
to
thank
bring
you
everybody
both.
together.
Yeah, it was a fun day. The vendors were amazing. They all had some kind of game, interactive activity. We had more giveaways than we've ever had before. So it was a fun day.
Yep.
One of you, Misha, you got to go. Did you have a favorite vendor that you visited?
I think my favorite one was one of the banks had an interactive like life in college simulator where you were given you're trying to go through college without getting into debt. And I'm a senior. That was, it was like, okay, I have to think about this. But it was really interesting to put all of that into perspective in 5 minutes on playing a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great little activity that they had.
I won $100,000 in debt.
Really? Did you end up with that?
in a week.
Quickly into $100,000. Yeah.
Oh, my
It adds up
goodness.
quick.
It is something else. But this whole thing with the community college, are you okay if I return to that? Ask you
Absolutely.
a couple questions?
Yeah.
First of all, so that is now part of our pathways? Is that? No.
So, not yet. But if we end up getting the early college grant funding, health sciences will be one of our pathways.
That's wonderful.
So we would probably tie the field trip in to the pathways, because although it was great to go with the seniors and kind of pilot it this year, a lot of them, especially we went last week with the second semester students, a lot of them already know what they're doing. They already have their plans laid out. So I think if we got sophomores, juniors that are in the health sciences pathway to do the field trip, I think that would be a better fit down the road. But we thought it was great. It tied right into the class. So we figured, try it out this year, see how it goes, work out any kinks. And then hopefully we're able to have a health sciences pathway, and then that can be part of the process.
Because with the community college, it's for free.
Yes.
Correct? In Massachusetts, which is really amazing.
Yes.
And if you get your associates and you decide that you want the bachelor's, it all applies, which is terrific.
Yes.
So all of that is right there. I think that that's phenomenal. The other thing I think is great for this is the hands-on and knowing what you really want to pursue, given that you can end up with $100,000 of debt and nothing that you really want to do at the end of the 4 years. So it's wonderful to be able to explore that right at the beginning of things if you can get that idea for yourself. That's terrific.
Yeah, and I always tell students it's good to explore different opportunities. So if you think you might be interested, it's just as important to find out if you're not interested in it before you go off to college or whatever and spend all this money and then potentially not end up liking it.
And for the wellness fair, I wanted to say that Antonella did a very, very good job.
You did.
And it was the food was great. And then Peggy is always very, very involved in this and
Yes.
goes gung-ho, loves it too. So,
Yeah.
But you and Stephanie take the cake because you just go nuts over this thing and you love it.
Yes, we do. Well, we got a lot of help and support from the Wellness Advisory Committee
So it's
as
really
well.
good. And the Wellness Advisory Committee is always looking for members,
Correct.
including community, staff,
Parents, anyone, yes,
Anyone can
they can
come.
reach out to
Students
Steph or I
can also
anytime.
do it?
Yes, we had one student, would love to have a couple in the future.
It would be great.
But yeah, it's a good group. We don't meet
It's 4
too
times
much,
a year.
4 times a year. We meet virtually for an hour or so, so.
It's great.
Yeah, anyone can reach out about that.
Except when we're reviewing the policy.
The review of the
And
policy,
it's
not
based on the federal, and that's something really important I think people need to realize, because people often think that the wellness committee and the wellness policy that we have here on the school committee are one and the same thing exactly, and they're not.
Yeah,
So the wellness, I don't have to speak to this, you can. The wellness committee is based on the federal
yes.
policy,
Yes,
right?
so then if anything changes at the federal level,
Right.
then we would have to make changes to our policies, and then we would present them to school committee.
And although I think we go a little bit beyond what the federal policy requires, the federal policy is old.
Yeah,
It hasn't been
not the
updated.
most recent, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, thank you.
Susan, any questions?
Just a quick add-on, and your people who connect with Middlesex probably know, but they also have a really excellent radiology and an ultrasound diagnostician program, and they've got labs on campus.
Yes,
there
we
as well.
asked them if we could add that next time. That's on their Bedford campus.
Right,
So
yes.
we were trying to figure out if we could spend half the day in Lowell and then the
Oh,
other
okay, it
half
is
in
in
Bedford.
Bedford. But you come out of
Yes.
that with an associate's degree,
Yeah.
ready to work at a really good job, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. We asked them about that a couple weeks ago when we went and said, can we get on your Bedford campus
Yeah,
next
yeah.
time? So, yeah, thank you.
Don't mean to interrupt. You've got a couple more slides, and then I just need to go check and see if Diana has any comments. So I didn't know, do you want to finish your
We got to
slides?
see
Oh, yeah.
Susan with the hula hoop.
Oh, yeah, I did have Susan with the hula hoop. They were just a couple of pictures of the wellness fair.
Oh, you went right past me.
Oh, did I go right past you?
Go right back.
in living
Well, she's
color.
in the second one, I skipped first. So this is just a couple of the vendors. We had therapy dogs, we had a rescue dog company come for the first time. A couple of dogs have already been adopted by some of our staff members, which is really cool. You got Mrs. Gump's got her staff doing CPR and first aid. We had a company come and a nursery's company come and do like little potted plants. And then here we go, we got Susan in the hula hoop. A reaction challenge, health screenings. It was a lot of a fun day. We had Chelmsford PD there, we had Chelmsford Fire Department there, the Board of Health, so lots of community representation, which was great to see. So, yeah, that was all we had for our presentation today, but if you have any questions for me or for the girls.
Diana, you with us?
I am with you.
Awesome.
Thank you. This has been great listening. I did have just one very kind of technical question, which is, you mentioned that students can, the new course that you were talking about, students can take that either in 11th grade or to meet a requirement in 12th grade. Just to clarify, if they take it in 11th grade, does that count as meeting the same requirement, or does it only count if they take it in 12th?
That's a good question. If they take it in junior year, it counts towards their elective credits. But if they take it in senior year, it would count as their senior year health graduation requirement. So
Got it.
they wouldn't count as the same.
Yeah, so if they take it their junior year, they would have a different course that would meet their requirement senior year, is that?
Yes, yes. They have 3 different options for courses, health courses that they can take senior year. So if they took the health sciences class junior year, they could take one of the other 2 their senior year.
Right, and this was just a semester course?
Yes, yep.
I thought I heard you. Okay, great.
And I did just have one other question, which is a little unrelated to what you shared out, but I was just curious how, it's now been a couple years since Massachusetts has had the new sort of layout of the scope and sequencing curriculum for health education, and I was curious how it, from your perspective, has been going now that that's sort of an established,
Are you talking about the updated standards?
yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, it's been going great. We updated all K-12 curriculum 2 years ago at this point. So all of our pacing guides are updated, all of our scope and sequences are updated, and they are all aligned to the national and the Massachusetts standards now. So we're happy that the standards are no longer from 1999. They were quite outdated, as you can imagine. So my staff was happy to update their curriculum and add in new standards.
I'm just curious, have you heard from staff if it has felt like, it's going well with the shifts that were built into that change now that it's been a few years?
Yes, I think they're very happy and honestly welcomed the change. So that was one benefit of the standards being 25 years old. They were biting at the bit to update the curriculum. And we really had weighed heavily on the national standards for the last 10 years or so because the Massachusetts standards were so outdated, it didn't make sense to kind of follow along with those. And the national standards were being updated every 5 to 7 years, so we kind of went with them for a while, but we were happy to come back to the Mass standards once they were updated.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I personally just want to thank Misha and Fabiana for taking the time to come and meet with us, and for giving us your perspective. You both sound like two really intelligent people to me. And to be given these types of options sounds like something you really appreciated. So thank you so much for doing that.
All right, well, thank you all.
Katie, thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you very
for
much.
having us.
Presentation, yeah.
Nice, it was
Great
great.
program.
It's always great to
And
have
Susan was
Katie.
wonderful with the hula hoop. That was great.
Enjoy
in
the rest
real
of the
life.
night.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, moving on the agenda, item number 3 tonight is just a memo and some information that I'm just sharing with the school committee members regarding a parent communication that I'd put out just a little bit ago regarding some of the supports that are in place for the district supporting immigrant families. I know Susan had actually kind of brought this up at a previous meeting, just asking like what we would do to make sure that, our schools, our staff, our families are prepared. They always feel welcome to the district. And, God forbid a parent were to get separated from a child, that we would actually have resources in place to be able to deal with that. So I had sent an email, I included it in the packet here, that went to families a bit back. There was actually some very good resources that the DA's office had put out for families as far as just for planning purposes around different kind of caregiver affidavits and things along those lines to make sure that you do plan ahead. And really, it's not just for, immigrant families, but during COVID, if you remember back just a few years ago, we've found even in schools that a lot of times, if you happen to go to like an emergency contact, if a child is sick and has to be picked up, during COVID, everyone happened to be home and you could, get to the district pretty quickly. But now that people are back at work, sometimes there are emergency contacts that might now be back, say, working in Boston or something like that aren't quite as close. So it's never a bad thing to just update your information and make sure your contacts are ready in case the school ever needs to reach out to them. But we wanted to make sure that families and staff knew the supports that were in place to work with and support families, that we do have incredible social workers and guidance counselors at our schools to be able to help families if they have questions or in need. And I did also send a few communications to our staff just to let them know exactly why they were receiving this information, some FAQ type documents for them in case students or staff had any questions. But I just wanted to share that communication with you so you're all on the same page.
Any questions, comments, Susan?
Just thank you for doing that, and thank you for filling us in also on the kind of staff training and things that are happening as well, because it's important for us to know that our office staff and our administrators have been given clear guidance around these issues, so thanks for including that.
Maria, anything?
I just want to say thank you. I truly appreciate it. Of course, I faced this with folks many times, and people, you can't be fearful. You just got to continue on with your life and doing your job and be ready. And this is good. This is great.
Diane, you had something?
Yeah, so I also appreciate that this has been issued, and I do think it is important to emphasize what you say in the communique, which is that this is not a warning of an imminent threat or a response to a concerning incident in our local community. It's more about making sure we have all the information and all of the steps taken so that if something happens, we have the resources in place. And I think I just want to make sure that we're being really careful not to make people frightened that there's something imminent that we're aware of, or that there's been an incident we're responding to. I have heard some families who've been asking me if this is because of something specific, and I just wanted to say it's more a supportive slate of resources that the district wants to make sure families have just in case.
Yeah, just to be clear, nothing has happened, and like nothing is that we know about is planned to happen. It's really more just as you indicated, Diana, just to make sure that the families know that they do have resources available. That we are supportive in the schools around all type of different crises that could happen, but it's really more for just preparedness planning to make sure things are in place if need be. But we've had no specific issues or accounts that necessitated this, or we're kind of pushing this. We just thought it was a good time to be able to ask parents to make sure that their information is current, again, to let them know that we do have the resources. So the few parents that I have talked to and even, had reached out like prior, just asking like what we would do, did get back to me and thank me and kind of say that they felt reassured that there were systems in place and the staff knew how to support and to deal with them to make sure that they really continue to feel included and welcomed and safe in the district. So that was certainly the intent.
All right, well, thank you for putting that out there. And
You're welcome.
moving on, we have a couple of financial things.
Yep, so we're moving to the financial aspects, and we have two different contracts that are before you for approval tonight that relate to capital projects in the district. One is the South Row exhaust hood, and then a second is an emergency egress to be added to the high school. Both of these projects were funded with town capital over the last couple of years. Both projects, the egress one at the high school took some additional detail to have drawings done before it could go out to bid. The South Row hood actually has been in the works for a little bit. We'd gone out to bid one time, and it ended up just coming in significantly over cost. Had to go back and kind of redesign, and then went out to bid again and have a number that we can work with. So I'd ask Joanna, if you don't mind, to just kind of walk us through the documentation that she prepared for both different projects. And then there are two separate contracts. These are two separate capital projects. So if and when approved, I do have two separate contracts that we'll pass around for signatures. And Diana, it's no rush at all, and John as well. I'll just leave them in the business office, and you can just pop in someday and sign them over the next couple of weeks. It's not critical. We still have to get the vendor signatures and things along those lines. But Joanna, maybe you could walk us through the two of them?
Sure. The first one is the South Row Elementary School kitchen exhaust hood, and as the superintendent said, we rebid this one because when we bid it earlier in the year, it came back significantly over budget, the one bidder we did get. So this time, we went out for bid January 28th and advertised in all the standard Central Register combis and in the Little Sun. We received 16 requests for the bid. And so we sent out those packets. We had a walkthrough on February 5th so they could see the kitchen and the hood and what the project would entail. One contractor did attend. Again, that was voluntary. We sent out an addendum, which is addressing any questions that came in either at the walkthrough or in writing via email. And we sent out the answers to the questions in the addendum on February 17th. We received two bids on February 26th, which was the bid deadline. And no, those are open to the public. No one attended that. And Marino Construction, Inc. was the successful, responsive, and responsible low bidder. So we asked our attorney to draft a contract. And before you tonight, maybe afterward, you can if you approve this recommended contract, then you can sign the documents the superintendent brought with, and the bid was for $48,333.
All right, does anybody have questions on the bid or the project?
I just have one question. The very first sentence says the fiscal year 2022 capital budget. Was it really that long ago that it was originally approved?
Yeah, so the funding, well, it's a year behind. So the funding in '22 would have happened during the summer of '23. This particular project has languished for a bit. We were originally going to try to work with a vendor who was on state contract to purchase it and do the installation. There were a bunch of different hurdles with that. Finally got to the point where we ended up actually purchasing the hood itself, and we're then looking for a vendor to do the installation for us. That was also cumbersome, so this has been languishing for quite some time. We don't use the elementary school kitchens as cooking kitchens, so it didn't impair any of the, the programming that we currently have. But no, we're finally at the point where we've kind of retooled it. We've gone out to re-engineer, redesign this, and we have a product before us that we can put in.
That's okay,
So
yeah.
It was a long time coming,
wondered if
but
it was
Does
really-
the town just carry that? How does that work for the fund? Like the
Yeah.
town just carries that on the?
it's been allocated to the project.
Okay.
So yes, it just carries over until you actually utilize it.
Okay,
And most projects do take like, say, 2 to 3 years, because when town meeting approves money in April, we don't usually have enough lead time to be able to go out to bid and get stuff done that summer. So it's usually at the earliest the following summer, but this one has been quite the time in the making.
okay. Like I said, no other concerns. I just wanted to make sure that,
I saw the same thing. I
Year
was like,
was
that's,
right.
that was a long time ago.
That's right.
All right, Diana, any questions on this?
No, thank you.
Okay, Maria, anything?
No.
Okay, we'll take a motion.
Okay. I move to accept the base bid and award the contract for construction services for work at South Row Elementary School. And the project includes installation of a pre-purchased HUD equipment with associated electrical and HVAC work as indicated in the contract documents to the vendor Marino Construction, Inc., 24 Marshall Street, Lowell, Mass. 01851, for South Row Elementary School in the amount of $48,333.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So a roll call. Diana,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Maria,
Aye.
aye. 4-0.
Great. Next project Joanna will walk us through is some additional emergency egress at the high school.
Thank you. So this is a 2026 capital project. We went out, this is, if you look at the high school, when you're coming in on the far left, there's a little bump out where there's one exit door. So this is adding a second exit door and coming outside for when students or staff are leaving the building. We followed the exact same calendar. Sometimes it's helpful to go out for bid on your projects at the same time. You might get more interest. So again, we went out for bid January 28th with the same advertising. We received 18 requests for the bid packets. We had a voluntary walkthrough on February 5th at the school, and one contractor attended, and we sent out the addendum. It was just a sentence added to the specifications and answered any Q&As, answered any questions. We received 5 bids on February 26th. 2 vendors did attend that bid opening. The successful bidder was Marino Construction. It came in at $94,375. We asked our attorney to draft the contract, and then tonight we are asking the committee to recommend that we go into a contract with this vendor.
All right, any questions on this contract? Diana, anything?
No questions.
Susan,
No? Okay.
Maria?
Nope.
I just, 2 questions. One is this, if I'm not mistaken, this came out of our safety audit, that this was something we needed to do, if I remember right?
Yeah, it originally came from our own staff and security observations of the emergency drills that we do at the high school. We basically have a bottleneck that happens when The second floor of the high school is trying to come down the stairs, and then the first floor is also coming out to go out one door. So what this is going to do is bump a door out where there's a window. So the top floor is going to come down and keep going out onto the side lot, and the first floor will use the other exit. So we did notice that. We brought it by the Davis Group when they were out doing their work, and they also concurred. So this is how this came about.
Okay, and that doesn't happen anywhere else? We're okay in other parts of the
No, on
building?
the other side of the building, there's a second door. So it's, I don't know why, at the time, there was already a door for the top floor, up near the, kind of the plateau
Yeah,
area.
going out to the plateau
Where
area,
the,
yeah, yeah.
the, what do you call it, the gazebo is?
Yep.
So the top floor can kind of go down right there,
Yeah.
and the bottom floor can go out. So, again, I don't necessarily know why. But it is a little, so we're doing a door, but you also have to do a cement platform and stage it to come down. So it is a little intricate, but it'll be great to be done.
Okay, and then my other question was that 94, that's the complete project cost?
No, the
Okay.
door, we are purchasing.
Okay,
So, but it's still within the budget that was brought forward for.
for the
entire
capital?
project.
Okay.
It's within the total project budget. We just like the particular doors that we've been buying because they integrate with everything else we have in the district. So it's easier to just buy them to know exactly what we want, and then the vendor installs.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll take a motion.
Okay, I move to accept the base bid and award the contract for construction services for work at Chelmsford High School to Marino Construction, Inc., 24 Marshall Street, Lowell, Mass. 01851, for the Chelmsford High School in the amount of $94,375. The project includes installation of pre-purchased doors, new concrete egress stairs with metal railings, and associated electrical work as indicated in the contract documents. And that's it.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all right. We have a motion, a second. All right, we'll take a vote. Diana?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Number 6 on the agenda this evening, Joanna's going to walk us through the preliminary current year fiscal '26 budget projection.
So each year about this time, we present where we think we're going to be favorable and unfavorable by DESI categories. We've been reporting it in our quarterly financial statements, and then this is just kind of a one-page summary where you can kind of see overall where we think we're going to come in, and you already have listened to the reasons why. So remember, our budget is $75,650,000. We've been favorable in labor, mainly because, we hired people at less than master step 3, and all the other reasons we've talked about for the first 6 months. In the end, we believe we're going to be $3,055,000 favorable. As a reminder, one of the main reasons we're that favorable is about $1.8 million was for prepaid tuitions, out-of-district special ed tuitions, that we paid last year for fiscal year 2026 tuitions. So it's about $1 million in other categories that were favorable. So we'll bring forward at another meeting a dollar amount to present to you to recommend prepaying fiscal year 2027 tuitions. And then tonight, at this meeting, we have a list of one-time projects to consider to use with the, to reallocate this budget into the categories where the one-time purchases would need to be charged.
All right, does anybody have any questions on the budget projection itself?
So first of all, I think it's really important what you said, Joanna, and that folks keep that in mind. The reason it's this total amount is because of the prepaid tuitions.
It's
You got-
about 2/3 of it, correct?
Yeah, and that's really important to keep in mind, because it's not like we're, over budgeting here. It's really important for people to realize that.
And that's really just a strategy that we're using.
Yeah.
As opposed to asking for too much money. It's a
Yes,
strategy
and
that-
I think it's an
And it's
important.
been carrying over year to year, so that we need to keep budgeting for it.
That's very important.
Correct?
And the other thing is, I wanted to ask, on a lot of the times when we have savings, quote unquote, is because we bring people in to fill a position who don't have that higher level that the individual who left had a higher level. And that makes sense to me because, you know, you've got a lot of people retiring who have many years of experience, who've taken additional education degrees, all of these different things. And you're bringing in somebody to replace often who may be at the more beginning points of their career and so on. My thing I think is really important for us to keep in mind is that we're not out there trying to get people who have less credentials, less experience, or less whatever, in order to get positives in the end. I get these kinds of questions that I just really want to make people understand that we go through a process here of really looking for the best talent that can be found. And I know that because I ask all the time, all kinds of questions, and the answers I get. And the principals of the schools have a lot to do with the hiring process for the teachers who work in particular schools. And lately, I've been getting a lot of questions about special ed teachers and whether, because there were stories out about recently in the Boston Globe, the New York Times, about the fact that a lot of schools don't have licensed special ed teachers. They're taking any teacher who can then get the license. So it's just really important for people to realize that we have a pretty, I think, sturdy, aggressive process to get the best talent that we can, and that we have to plan and budget for the best that we can get. So that's important, I think.
Right, yeah, the only kind of quick thing I would add to that is, I agree with you, and like even for the limited positions we have open for next year, we're already on the market trying to get the very best and brightest people to come work in our district. There is usually a savings though, because not that a person has lesser credentials, like a new teacher who's filling, say, a second grade or third grade position at one of our schools. They're going to be licensed for the job that they're in. It's just typically they're not coming to us with 20 or 30 years of experience like the retiree may have had. So for our budgeting purposes, we do assume a little bit of a savings because traditionally, again, depending on the position, the person will have likely a master's degree at least, and they may have a few years of experience, but they don't have 30 years of experience. So there is a savings because they might be coming in on step 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 as opposed to step 10 or 12. So that's where the savings comes from, but the person is no less licensed for the role that
Right.
they're in. And again, oftentimes earlier in someone's career, they may, you obviously have a bachelor's degree, but you may have a master's degree, but they may not quite yet have CAGs or a doctorate or something like that. That usually takes a little bit of time to develop. So yes, we do obviously see some savings on that front. The other area, and I think Joanna has pointed out previously as well, is even like some of the leaves that'll happen. And, we will have, say, like a maternity leave and have to hire a sub in the place of. That obviously also accrues a little bit of savings. Sometimes if you have an individual, say, resign and go to work a different position in the middle of the year, there's a lag time until you can actually hire a new person. So there's a little bit of savings that gets built up in the salary. And that's another reason that we end up having a little bit of extra money. But, there are some districts that over the course of the year will actually kind of calculate that and go immediately and do spending. Or that you might add to, say, staff or salaries. We have always resisted that. I have never recommended doing that because you end up getting yourself in a hole where now you're building your budget base much higher for the following year. And we don't want to budget in deficit in any way. Our strategy, and to Susan's point, this has been a strategy, is basically to accumulate those savings over the course of the year. Obviously, if we need something mid-year, we'd make an adjustment or we would allocate it. But we've been able to account for those funds and actually do some very strategic one-time purchasing. So we'll buy things that aren't going to have a recurring cost in the next year that we wouldn't have necessarily been able to fund in the current year or even in that year's budget. And that strategy, I think, has worked well for us. We've been able to accomplish a lot more on our capital projects, on our investments in kind of non-personnel by doing so. And again, to Susan's point, you mentioned the prepaying the special ed tuitions. That also has worked well for us. It provides us a little bit of a buffer in the event that you do get some special ed kids that move in, or some kids who you didn't plan for that have to go out of district during the course of a year. And that's about $1.8 million, a little bit more of that $3 million. So, you're really probably talking about less than, $1.5 million, which in the scheme of our budget is not a significant sum to have as what would be on the town side, say, free cash. Right, on our side, it has to be reinvested in education.
They're real costs. It's not
Oh,
like we're
correct.
trying to play tricks with it. They are real costs. And many years we've been able to save by prepaying, but they are real costs that would be there if that ability went away. So we can't.
It's really just,
Budget that
it's the
away.
funding
Those are
mechanism
real
and how
costs.
you're funding it, correct.
Yeah.
And again, I do think we've been able to accomplish a lot more by using and implementing the strategy as opposed to what some other districts might do and just spend on the fly during the course of a year.
And it doesn't always work that way, because if you look at the breakdown that we have here, look at transportation.
Right.
That is a substantial amount more than what was budgeted. So, it can work either way, but it's important that folks realize what that means, what that bottom line really entails.
I agree.
Diana, any questions on the budget projection?
No, thank you. It's clear from what you were all discussing and what I can read.
I just looking at this summary, I assume that the approved budget transfers, those are mostly the salary transfers that we made for the contracts, the new contracts?
Yes.
Okay, so,
And then any smaller ones that I might have brought
okay.
between the beginning of the year and now.
And to Maria's point on the transportation, is that something that will cover that deficit later in the year from other funds, or the 344, or has that already been?
Well, that, with the way this math works is that overage, if you will,
Yeah.
is already baked into the number.
Okay, baked into the final total, okay.
So
Yeah.
if,
Because that whole column sums up to the
Yep, yep,
3,055,000.
Gotcha.
So if that weren't there, if that was negative, you'd have another 344.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so we'll move on to the.
Yes, so there's no, technically, that's just like a report of progress for you. So what we've crafted tonight, very similar to, and this would be my recommendation to you, is kind of a multifaceted approach to utilizing some of this funding to help our needs. So I do think we should, again, employ, and in the back of our minds, have a number of about 1.8 million for the prepaid tuitions. So that gives us comfortably about 1.2 million that we can allocate to one-time spending. And before you this evening, what I did is we usually ask all of our schools and all of our departments to come forward with requests that, again, would be one-time in nature. They're not going to add to recurring costs in future years, and to basically help us accomplish some of our capital planning goals. So you have a list. I just have to find it.
Next page.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's just small.
It's just small.
My eyes can't do that. So you have a list before you this evening of just shy of $1 million. We do have a number of projects that we're still waiting on kind of refining quotes for. We want to make sure that we can get product based on availability. So there'll be another batch of projects that do come forward at a future meeting. But this would be just under $1 million of spending. I can run them through you, or I might just kind of group them in big groups, and then you can ask individual questions if you have. But through the town capital funding this coming year in the spring, there is funding for the emergency notification system, similar to what we implemented at Harrington last summer, at South Row and Byam. In talking to Bill, we'd actually like to try to accomplish Center School at the same time and have all 4 elementary schools have the new ENS system. So the 116,000 is in there to be able to do that. We then have a couple of requests for updating some CPR mannequins for both staff and student training at the high school. A request to add some digital cameras to some of the digital camera classes, digital photography classes at the high school. And then there is a series of musical instrument purchases that we try to upgrade the band and orchestra at both McCarthy Parker and the high school over the last number of years. So Christy Whittlesey works with the staff of those schools to provide some updated equipment for us. And these are some of the bigger pieces that are very expensive that an individual student wouldn't buy, but that we keep at the school for use. Again, we have a request from Peggy, who's our school nurse, to basically refresh our AEDs at all of the schools. I think that makes a lot of sense. And also to add one AED at Parker near the gymnasium, just because of the amount of use that we get at the gym over there. This would be a continuation on the next line of updating the touchscreen, displays in the schools. So this would accomplish a couple more grade levels at the elementary, and then most of Parker and McCarthy would be complete. Last year, we did a very similar purchase, so I think the final round of this would be next year in the schools, but that's about $328,000. Upgrading the mini labs at the high school with new Mac Minis. They haven't been upgraded since 2020, so they're going on 6 years old. They're starting to run a little bit slow. Looking to purchase for a lot of the FOSS science materials in the schools. A lot of the original kind of cardboard boxes that they have come in are really starting to disintegrate and fall apart. So this would be to buy proper plastic storage bins so that they can be clear, you can see through to see what's in them, but they'll be a lot easier for schools to be able to store away. Then we have a couple of requests from our facilities department to add some snow removal equipment, a couple of new snow blowers. Again, this was a very tough winter for our equipment as well as our custodians, but we do need to replace a couple of pieces of equipment that went down last year. As you know, for the last, I believe it's 4 years, if not 5 years, we have allocated funding to purchase all of the back-to-school supplies for the students in the district to kind of take that cost off of parents. And also from an equity lens, it really allows all students to have the exact same materials when they come back to school. So there is funding in there to be able to do that again. I think, again, that's been very well received. A smaller request at Harrington to add some sensory swings to their autism classrooms. And that's been worked through with the special education department. Another piece of band equipment from McCarthy. As I'm talking, I'm realizing this is now sorted by school, and that's why it's, I thought it was by equipment. So that's why that's coming up again. Again, some more chairs and band equipment for the orchestra and band at McCarthy. Some new 3D printers from McCarthy as well. They have them in the labs now, but they're really starting to be out of date. They need to be replaced. Last year, we had approved funding to replace 4 of the accordion walls at McCarthy Middle School. There were 2 on the second floor and 2 on the first floor. We physically did not have enough time to do the 2 on the first floor. So we did the 2 on the second floor last year because we know the elevator is going to be down at McCarthy to be rehabbed this summer. So we left the 2 on the first floor to be done this summer. So the $43,000 is for that. Again, that's the AED I mentioned earlier at Parker. I assumed it was in the other line, but that's to be located near the gym area. And then another piece of musical equipment, the digital piano for Parker. So this first round of one-time expenditures adds up to $974,448. This would be part of approximately the $1.2 million final ask when that comes forward. But I think all of these different items would be very appreciated by the schools and departments and staff and students that get to utilize them. Again, I think it's a wise use of our one-time spending, and it's in line with what we have been kind of strategically doing over the last number of years.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on any of the proposed one-time expenses? No. Diana, any questions on any of the?
I don't have any questions at this time, no.
Okay. Maria, anything?
No, I'm just looking that it's pretty spread out throughout the system,
Yeah.
which is great. And it's interesting, when you add up all the things that go to music and arts at this one-time spending, I think is important. That's great that we're able to do it.
These are the last 2 accordion walls that we have to deal with at McCarthy?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah.
I always think that's the
There's
last.
always one hiding on us, but no, I do truly believe these are going to be the last 2 accordion walls at McCarthy.
Okay. They've only been there like 70 years.
They have. They've served us well, but they're past their useful life.
Right, my other question is just on the Clear Touch, are these new purchases or these are replacements
No, this is to replace the existing equipment.
Okay.
So the existing equipment that's going to be replaced now is probably 5, 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
So they would be taking out the old and putting in the new.
Okay, so that's the lifespan of these things, about 5 or 6 years, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They're getting a lot of use. I mean, on
Yeah.
a positive
Oh, no,
note, they're
yeah,
getting a lot of
right,
use.
I know that.
These are the teacher displays,
Yeah.
right, that they use.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is about the longevity we're getting out of them.
Okay, great, because I knew we did a big, during the COVID years, we
did.
did a bunch of them, so, okay.
We did.
All right. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right, we'll take a motion.
Okay. I move that we vote to approve the FY 2026 local operating budget transfers totaling $974,448 for the Chelmsford Public Schools as presented. So this budget transfer shifts from 10 DESI categories that are favorable to 8 DESI categories where the items should be purchased, as discussed.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all right, we'll take a vote. Diana?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye?
Maria?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0.
And
It was
there's,
$1 million.
there goes $1 million. And we do have one smaller budget transfer that followed.
So at the February 3rd school committee meeting, we brought forward a cost of living adjustment to align some salaries in the central administration, clerk, secretaries, and support positions with the CFT PSP salary tables. So this budget transfer of $15,379 is to move funds from the salary reserve COLA account into the 3 account numbers where these salaries are charged.
Okay. So,
Any questions on this transfer? No. Diana, any questions?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, all right, we'll take that.
okay. I move that we vote to approve the FY 2026 local operating budget transfer of $15,379 from the salary reserve COLA account to the various labor accounts as presented.
I second.
Okay, all right, Diana?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item number 9 this evening is the personnel report for the month of February. Just details a few new hires to the district, a few resignations, and an assignment change. No action required, just providing this for context.
Okay, any questions on the personnel?
I do actually have a question. I believe that at a prior meeting, we talked a little bit about the library staff in the schools. I do see that there's an assignment change for an interim librarian to be in that split role with McCarthy and Parker. Could you remind me where that transfer is coming from and whether the position that's been vacated has also been filled?
So 2 parts to your question. So it's listed as an assignment transfer because the individual who's listed here on the report used to previously work at the high school. So she is actually transferring to that split role that goes between McCarthy and Parker temporarily through the end of this school year. So she vacated a library clerk position at the high school. I honestly don't know off the top of my head what the status of that is. There's no backfill at this time? All right, so that has not been backfilled at the high school at this time. But the librarian position at McCarthy and Parker is filled by this individual through the rest of the school year. We do happen to have 2 library clerks at the high school, so I can follow up tomorrow morning to figure out if there was a further plan or if that individual is just going to be kind of keeping things together for the rest of the year. But that is a library clerk position at the high school, not a librarian. So the high school has a librarian.
So this position is the one that we've been trying to fill for a couple of months.
We had a really hard time, yeah. We posted several times. We posted several different ways. We ultimately actually thought we hired someone, or thought we had someone. We made the offer and it didn't come through. So Bill, working with some of the staff, were able to work with this individual who was interested, at least on an interim basis, of stepping in to help us. And we were able to get a waiver for the licensure, so she's licensed for the time being. And
I wanted to make clear, she was able to get the DESI.
yeah, we were able to get her the DESI waiver
the
for the year as the
librarian.
librarian. And she's going to help us out through the end of June. Long-term, we'll be talking about that and advertising for like a permanent replacement. But for the time being, this is at least going to help us out through the rest of the school year.
All right, any other question on the personnel report? Okay, we just have a couple of field trips, one of which is retroactive.
Yeah, so one of them is retroactive. I had sent an email to the committee a couple of weeks back. Our schedule did change, but this trip actually came in even later than it should have after our schedule changed. So the first one we allowed to go, it was the high school a cappella group attending the ICHSA semifinals in Hartford, Connecticut. It was not an overnight trip, it was just a day trip on a Saturday from Chelmsford to Hartford, and then they came back that same day. There may have also just been confusion about the need for, because it wasn't overnight, the approval, but I have clarified that again with the high school, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen again. And then the two new trips, the high school, the Theater Guild, this weekend actually, going to the METG state finals down in Boston. That is an overnight trip. And then later in the spring, as has been customary, McCarthy Middle School, the students who are in the 8th grade French program that are interested, doing a cultural enrichment trip up to, up to Quebec City, Canada, May 1st to 3rd. So the first one is really more of just because it's already happened, just an acknowledgement that the trip occurred for record keeping, and the other two are your approvals.
Okay.
All right, we'll take them one at a time.
All right, so I move that we confirm the approval of the Chelmsford High School field trip, the Thursdays a cappella group, to ICHSA semifinals on March 15, 2026, West Hartford, Connecticut.
Second?
Okay, any questions? My question is, do we know how the Thursdays did?
Yeah.
I don't. Do you know how they did that day?
No, but they got,
What place they came in.
they got some awards.
They good?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
They usually do very well, that's why I ask you, okay. All right, so we have a motion, a second. Diana?
Hi.
Susan?
Aye?
Maria?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I move that we approve the Chelmsford High School field trip for the Theater Guild to the METG State Final Round of One Act Festival, March 26th through the 28th, 2026 at Boston, Mass.
Second?
Okay, any questions on this one? All right, Diana?
Hi.
Susan?
Aye?
Maria?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Okay, and I move that we approve McCarthy Middle School's field trip for interested 8th grade French students for cultural enrichment, May 1 through 3, 2026, to Quebec City, Canada.
I'll second.
okay, any questions on this one? All right, Diana?
Hi.
Susan?
Aye?
Maria?
Aye.
Aye. Great. All right, can I just can we flip-flop new items and liaison reports? Because I know the superintendent has to get out of here. So anybody have any new items they would like brought up in a future meeting before he takes off?
I'm not going to go home. Tonight was my night to present to the Civics Academy that the town is doing. They're having residents come in.
Class.
So I forgot when we moved this meeting, it was going to butt up, but I have a presentation I have to go give at 7:30 up at Town Hall. So I'm prepared, I'm ready to go.
Go for
But,
it.
no, if you have anything, I'm happy to.
Diana, you have anything?
Nothing that's time sensitive. Nope.
No.
Marina, okay. I just had two things. One is, and this, Joanna probably could have answered this. I was reading something recently about how DESI was sending out about Title I funds, expecting like a 15% cut, because it was another town and it would just, where Title I has a big impact. Is this something that we've already considered in our budgeting and?
It's not official, but our community was highlighted that we may not meet the
Poverty level?
poverty level to keep getting
Yeah.
we're at around 400,000 in Title I funds. So if we don't meet the poverty level, we'll go back to where our Title I was for 2 years ago and prior, which is more around 200,000 per year, and we'll know that this summer.
Okay, great.
And it's just Title I, it's not the
Right.
other entitlements.
Like I said, this other community was a much bigger part of their budget, so it was more concerning than would be for
A
us.
lot of the urbans are really getting killed.
Right, it was an urban school, yeah. And the only other thing is just, because I know we got our, I'm gonna get messed up, what it's called, the integrated program review, was it?
Coordinated.
Coordinated program review. Could we share that with the committee at some point, or is it gonna do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So earlier this winter, Special Ed and the DESI group performed their coordinated program review. It's every so many years they come in. So that was completed. Overall, I think very successful. We received the draft report, and I just need to see if we have responded or not to the questions that DESI posed. But then when we do have the final report, I'll certainly share that with the committee. And then I do know that Amy Reese, when she comes, I think it's in April, when she comes to do the special education overview, is going to also highlight that.
Okay.
So all in all, it was very good review, very good report. The one item we're just following up with them on, but I'll absolutely share the final report with you. And again, Amy will speak to it when she comes in.
Great. Okay, thank you. All right, any other new items? All right, so we're good.
I'm off to
Have
present.
fun.
Okay.
All right,
Good
and
luck.
we can do liaison reports. So Diana, do you have any
Okay.
liaison reports?
I don't, because the Parker PTO and McCarthy PTO decided to cancel this month's PTO meeting due to the fantastic Parker play that was happening that night. So other than congratulating the staff and students on that wonderful production, I don't have a report from that group, and the South Row hasn't met this month.
Okay, great. Susan, you have anything?
I attended CHIPS PTO on March 9th, and they are, as usual, continuing to do just really great enrichment things, working very cooperatively with their teaching staff to pull them off. So nice job to them for all of that. They got goats coming on May 28th. I think that's really cool. I love us, they do things like that, but they just do a great job. Just to let people know that their PTO board does need 3 new people to step up because some of the parents' kids are aging out of CHIPS, moving on to the next school level, so they do need at least 3 people to move up into the roles of president, co-president, and secretary in order to keep the PTO functioning.
Okay.
Similarly, at Harrington, they have, I think, 2 of their executive board roles filled, but they are still looking for at least 2 more people at Harrington to continue in their executive board roles through the next school year. They have a few months, but it's a good thing for people to think about to be involved. They have been able to use their new notification system to assist with the ALICE drills very successfully. It's been good feedback with how well that is working. So I know those are systems we're putting into all the other schools, but it's working really well. And they've used it not only in ways that are more traditional, like using it when everyone's in their classrooms and when a drill happens, it's pretty easy to follow a protocol, but they've also conducted drills during transition periods, and students could be anywhere in the building, in the hallways. So it's just an important need that they are able to practice what to do no matter where you are in the building. And that system's just helping them with that so that it's obvious when it happens, what's happening. So that's really great. And they're doing their annual Tape Mr. A to the Wall as a fundraiser soon. This time it's going to help fund 4th grade party costs, but there is a day where they actually tape the principal to the wall with duct tape, and he stays taped up pretty much the whole day. He's a good sport about it, he really is. I guess that's it, yeah.
Wow.
Do you have any principals being taped?
Yes. So Center School PTO, I attended that meeting. They run an incredible meeting. They always are doing great things for students, families, and staff. And so I'll highlight a couple. First, they ran their bingo, and I believe Dr. Lang and Dr. Hirsch have shown up with their prize, which was lunch, correct?
Well, lunch pizza was great.
It was fun.
Some great kids.
I have to see if I've won yet.
Yeah.
It was delicious on top of it.
They run 3 sessions of this bingo this year, about 45 minutes to an hour per session, and on one night, and it's an incredible event. Taste of Chelmsford did incredibly well again this year. They were very thankful to everybody in the community that donates to the Taste of Chelmsford. Family Culture Night, they're having one for the first time in a long time. And I believe it's their first in many years. And they have now over 20 students with different locations. So it started, last report, it was 10 when I remember, and now it's up to 20. And everybody got very, very involved, and they're calling it one center, one community, which means a lot. Recycle Day is coming up, May 2nd, and that will be true for McCarthy too. And the signs will be going up. They are very well ahead of their planning for the fourth grade activities, and they had an amazing science fair. STEM fair, which they said this time, the great thing was the kids, the students presenting to each other. It was really amazing to see from the, lower levels to higher level to, and vice versa. It was really wonderful. They did Pi Day for the staff, and they also got their whole cafeteria painted. And they are very thankful to Nancy Antonelli for helping out with that and getting that all organized. It looks terrific. I think they've called their lion Worry. And they had a contest for it and everything. It looked wonderful. Okay, the Wellness Committee. We attended that. That was a lot of fun, and that was one of my delegations this year. That is a fun one. Another person who was on my hobby table was Teresa Evans. She is a crazy fanatic for puzzles. Oh, yeah. Yep. See, and somebody made the puzzle during the whole thing. Yeah, we got one done. CHS also met. They're into the after prom, no question about it. Their budget is, they want to leave in the budget enough for another after prom, so they're working away at it. They have a pickleball tournament coming up May 16th from 8 to 4. Food trucks, raffles, different things for that pickleball tournament. And they ran staff events March 20th. They had one, that was this week, I believe. One more lunch is planned, and they did a St. Patrick's Treats Day. So they're also doing quite a bit with staff enrichment. And that was it.
That's all, huh?
Thank you.
That's great. What's that?
No,
Yes, she already did, okay.
Yep. I got it.
I already spoke of the building committee met before our thing. And, I think, I would assume we're gonna get the educational program document with a little lead time before our next meeting, because we are gonna vote on it again, so I would assume that.
Yes,
I know
we're
you're,
just in the process of updating,
Yeah.
answering the current questions for the 3 configurations, and then we'll get the final plan for your review when we make the
right,
edits.
so that will be our next meeting, the 14th, so.
Yes.
All right, speaking of which, just to quickly, 30th, we have Day on the Hill.
Yes.
Yes.
That-
Actually, I wanted to ask before you move on from
Yep.
that,
Yep.
what's the current status in terms of any legislators or others we'd reached out to?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Representative Aciero's staff, and we have a scheduled appointment with him at 1:30 on Monday. I've also had some conversation with Representative Cataldo, and he's gonna try to work his schedule so he can also meet us at 1:30, so we can meet them both in the same office and around the same time. So I think that works out well. I think the program begins at 10 with some presenters, and then 12:30 is lunch, so then
Right after
we move to the office. I have his office number and all that. I haven't heard back from our other rep at this point, but those two definitely, I think we'll be able to meet with them.
Yeah, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice that it's back at the State House.
Oh, it's great.
I
It's so
really
much better.
think, yeah, that's terrific.
Yep, so that will be Monday day, and then Monday night, we meet with the select board
Yes.
to approve Neshoba Tech School Committee member. And Tuesday, we do our AI workshop from 6 to
To 9.
9. And then Wednesday, we have executive session, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
so,
correct.
Yeah.
so busy week next week, but we'll be good, all right? And then
Yeah.
we don't meet again till the 14th.
And then you're until-
All right, anything else before we wrap it up?
I'm just gonna tell people that we have some signatures to do. Diana, next time you're in the office, could you see the superintendent, just to put your signatures on those 2 contracts that we discussed this evening?
Absolutely, and I can, if I haven't come by incidentally, just
We'll find you.
yeah, just reach out to me and I'll do it in a purposeful way. Just come up to do
Can
that.
I just ask Dennis one question? For the building committee, so what happens with, who represents the select board on the committee right now?
Still, right now, it's just Pat Maloney is still.
Oh, he's still doing it?
Nobody, the building committee has not changed. It's the same makeup as
Okay,
as already
all
been.
right.
Yeah, he's still the chair, so, yeah.
Okay.
Of the,
Building committee, Parker Building Committee.
so he'll still be on the committee.
believe
But he will
so.
no longer be
A select person.
selectman, but he can still chair.
I believe so.
Because he's still a member.
Yes,
'Cause he's-
yes. And he has
he's
experience
community
in school buildings and all that too,
Yeah,
so
his-
that's, yeah.
right,
So he's
okay.
got expertise in
So
that.
that won't really be disruptive.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't change anything. I think that's
On the
all.
board,
Yeah.
he's still on the committee.
The building committee is status quo at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just thinking that it's been a while, we've been at this building for several years.
10 for me.
10, right?
Yeah, because I started even before I got elected, I was already going to
And,
workshops.
and this is my 7th year on the committee, and we've been talking building all of these years. I was sitting at that meeting thinking that, children born this year will be, 4 or 5 years old by the time this building is done. The wonderful thing is continuity.
Yeah.
So I truly want to thank you, Dennis, for all the work you've done on this committee. It's very much appreciated, and I know it involves quite a bit more.
Yeah, no, everybody on the committee is.
It really does,
Joanna's
so-
on the committee, and Superintendent Lang.
It's
and,
great.
you know,
It's
Brian
exciting
Curley,
to know
yeah.
that it's.
It really,
far
we
along.
Yeah.
are really, I mean, we're close. We are,
Exciting to know.
yeah, very, very close to
Yeah.
being, saying, here's your building, here's your grade configuration, here's your site, and
Yeah.
start to get the design work, so, yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, and I also think that it was really important to have a delegate from our committee on the whole town's planning. And you did a great job with that. And I think that and the building together is really, really important for us to keep in mind. The goals of the town, the goals of this building committee go right in line one with the other. So this strategic plan, if it's going to get implemented and is going to happen for the town, the committee is important here
It
and all the
should
work
be in
that's being
effect
done.
now. I don't know, because I'm not on the continuing committee, but it was voted and it's in effect, so.
Good, terrific.
All right, if there's nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, Diana,
Hi.
Susan,
Aye.
Maria,
Aye.
aye, we are adjourned.